Janet with Try It Like I Create It, and today I am here with Fairy Stamper's video design team, and I'm going to be working with this cat stamp, which is called Nayla, and it's FHS 251. And I thought it would be, let me move the ribbon out of the way here. I found this paper that has these birds on here, and I thought it would be really fun to have her kind of playing with or chasing after the birds. So we're going to make a tag, and then I have a collection of ribbon to put on my tag once we get to that point. Alright, so let me move this paper out of the way for a minute because this is a thin paper, and so we need to thicken it up by using some cardstock. And so I am going to begin by cutting my tag, and so I have this piece of paper here, or cardstock, that I am going to be using for the tag. And if you want to know the size that I'm working with here, I just kind of eyeballed it, but the dimensions are 2 1/4 and by 4 1/4. And then I'm on my works board here, and let me move this over so you can see the beginning of it. And I am just putting in place the mechanism that's going to help me cut. Excuse me, I seem to have a little frog in my throat. Alright, so this is going to then cut the angles for me, and I think something like that looks good. I don't usually follow a guide, I just kind of place it where it looks good, and so where I'm at here is at 5 1/4 down here, and starting at the 1, of course. And so what we're going to do here is cut these angles to make our tag, and I'll just line this one up again at the 5 1/4 and cut this angle and take a look at how that works, and it looks okay to me. And then the next thing we need to do is we're going to punch a little hole in there. But before we do that, I want to figure out where these birds are going to fall on this tag. And so I may have to actually go with something here in the middle. So let's kind of place that there, thinking that that's what we're going to use. And then I'm going to be generous with what I'm cutting around it. And I know I'm cutting right into the center of this paper, unfortunately, and wasting a rather good amount. But I'll set that aside. And so now we want to figure out where this is going to be. So I'm going to bring in my light and kind of flip it over here, and hopefully I'm not going to blind you too much. If you had a light board, you could do that. But hopefully you can see here that what I'm going to do is kind of figure out where I want those birds to sit on my tag. And then hopefully that will line up with the cat as well. So I have that there, and I am just now looking to grab some kind of a clip or a paper clip to hold this in place. Here we go. Alright, and so I'm going to just hopefully grab a hold of that up at the top with the binder clip. Alright, so let me put this light out of your eyes. Alright, so I have that, and now I'm going to open up my stamp and see where she will sit in regards to that. So I'm going to hold it up again a little bit here to the light and just see what that looks like. And she's going to be going right in between those two birds. And I'm wondering if I want to just lift that tag up a little bit more. I think I do. Alright, so let me kind of lift this up again. Hopefully you're getting a sense of what I'm doing here and seeing where she will lie between the two birds. Alright, so one is going to go off the edge of our tag, but let's see if that looks good enough. Alright, that was taking a little bit longer than necessary, so I just went off camera to figure out where I want to place her and get her so she's kind of playing with this bird here, and I'm hoping that I'm not going to cut too much of him off there either, and I'm not. Alright, and then I also have room right here to put the hole. So I have binder clipped this in place, and I am just going to lift this up, and I'm going to use some wet glue here to hold this down. Normally I wouldn't. I would use some kind of a tape runner, or well, you know what, maybe we can still do a tape runner. Let me grab that and bring it over, and we'll run the tape down the middle, and then we'll run it on this edge. Alright, and then we'll flop our paper down, and then as we take the binder clip off, I can now do the tape runner on this side as well. Right, and I'm just going to lay that paper down in place. Alright, so that worked. And now what we're going to do is just flip this over and follow along the edge of our cardstock here and just cut off the excess paper. So now I have my tag sitting on my works board, and I have peeled my stamp, and I want to place her right there so she is playing with that bird. Alright, and we're going to make her stand out. We're going to stamp her in black because we want her to stand out, but then I am going to put clear embossing powder over her to give her a little shine. So let's pick her up with the works board, and then I am going to stamp in black. And I like using the works board, especially for a large flat stamp, because if I need to stamp it more than once, I can do that. Now, as I ink this up, I don't want to forget that I am going to, sorry for the paper noises, I want to just tap the areas of the stamp, or the tag, where I don't want the ink to go, or the embossing powder. So, alright. So now that I know that we've done that, and I've inked her up, the other thing about the works board is because it has this plunger system, I can see where she's placed before I actually push her down onto the paper. So I think that we are good right there. So I'm going to give that stamp a nice push, give it a second for the ink to transfer. And since it is the first time I'm using this stamp, it may need to be done twice, and so I am just going to re-ink and go from here. Alright, and then I can double check, make sure I'm still lined up correctly, and give it a press. And then let's take a look and see how dark. Oh, much darker. Okay, I like it. And so to bring in the clear embossing powder, and I'm just going to dust over her, and there she goes, turning a nice gray color. Alright, now set that aside. Let me cover up my ink before we do the embossing here. Get that out of the way. Bring in the heat gun, and I'm going to heat from the bottom first and then come to the top. So I think she's looking pretty nice and standing out a bit from the background. So for the next step, I am going to be using Distressed Oxide in Faded Jean, and I'm just going to go and darken up kind of around the edge of the tag. Just give it a kind of a shadow effect, I guess. Now, if I wanted it much darker, instead of just dragging the brush over it, I could put it down on the surface here and give it a rub, but I don't want to go that dark, so I'm just doing this kind of brush around the edge. Okay. So there we are. Then, because I can take it one step further, as always, I'm going to use my DIY spray. This is a white mist, and so I'm going to put this, put the tag in my spray box, spray it, and then I'll be back. All right, so now I have sprayed this with my DIY shimmer spray, and it's really subtle. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up at all, but it almost looks like snow to me, the way it shines, and you really do have to move it to see it. So now I'm ready to punch my hole, and my works board does have a punch, and it makes it easy because you can just center your tag and put the punch in it, but I want to control where that hole is going. So I'm going to use a traditional paper punch here, and I'm just going to punch inside where I used the blue shadow effect. Alright, and so then I am ready to start working with my ribbon and twine. And so I have some blue and some green and some twine, and I might double up on the twine here, and I'm gonna grab my scissors here and just roughly cut the ribbons for right now. And let's see, I didn't get that twine cut. Alright, so here is what I'm using. Let me set these off to the side here. So this is what I have, and I'm just trying to decide here what I want on the top of the loop. So I think I'm going to go with the blue on the top, and what I mean it by that is I'm finding the center here. I'm going to fold it over and pinch a little corner like so, and then I can set that through my tab. And the reason I wanted to figure out, I do this every single time. I did it on the wrong side again. Alright, so let me take this out, do it again. Alright, I'm going to fold it so I have a point kind of like a needle, and I'm going to go from the front to the back. Alright, that way when I go to make the loop, and make sure I've got, I just wanted to make sure I get the twine on the right, in the right sides. So now, as I pull through here, I have this loop on the front of my tag. I don't know why I have such trouble with that. If you watch any of my other tag tutorials, you're going to see that that is the case. So there. excuse me, I now have that going through. I'm going to move this up a little bit so that it's going around the ribbon instead of the tag. I think I like that look better. Alright, and then when it comes to the ends here, it looks like most of them are at an angle except for this guy here. So I will just do that. And it is done except for the fact that I could, you know, burn the edges or dip it in some fray check, which I'm looking for here. I don't see it in front of me. That's okay. And then since the twine isn't doing a whole lot for me, I just might take it and wrap it around so that we get a little extra look of it there. And maybe, let's see, maybe we'll even just try a little bow if it works. See if I have enough here for it. Yeah. And then I'll just open that up a little bit. What a fun little tag.